All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. Do you want to know a really simple but super effective way of being happier and loving yourself more that can absolutely change your life? It's so important. I've been talking about this, especially in my last couple videos, actually more than the last couple of videos, how important it is to love yourself. And I know it sounds very cliche because we've heard it before. You got to love yourself, but it's so true. I put out three videos on how to go from feeling worthless to feeling worthy. Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't think the world of you, if you don't feel like you're sexy and you don't feel like you're wanted and you don't feel like you're worth anything, you just won't play big in life. And if you don't play big in life, you're simply not going to, live your purpose, and you're not going to be a success. And it's never too late to live your purpose. It's never too late to become a success. And so I'm going to discuss today a really simple but effective way of becoming happier and really loving yourself more. Now, before I get into the content, what I invite you to do is, if you are getting value from my videos and my blogs and my all my content, then I invite you to do some super. Wow, I'll say that again. I'll invite you to do something super simple and super easy. I invite you to either like, subscribe, share, or comment. Again, it's a super easy way and it's a simple way for you to support my blog and to do so for free. So, what is this technique that I'm talking about? What is this effective way that I'm talking about that will make you happier? And once you become happier, you're going to start loving yourself more. And once you start loving yourself more, you're going to start taking action. You're going to find that you procrastinate less, that you are working towards your dreams more and more every single day. And as I said before, there is a certain satisfaction of going to bed at night knowing that you worked on your dreams, that today you are a little bit closer to your dreams than you were yesterday. And if you keep this pattern up tomorrow, you work more at it, you're going to be even closer. And some days you'll work a lot towards your dream. Some days you'll work a little bit towards your dream, but you'll never go for weeks or months at a time where you never work at your dream. That's when you really get stuck in a rut, and that's when you really kind of start losing hope, and you don't want that to happen. And it's important to be kind to yourself. And when I say be kind to yourself, this is especially when you make mistakes. If you make a mistake, if life isn't going well, if you're having a bad day, most people, when they are making a mistake, they're down on themselves. Hold on a second, gotta turn that fan on. Okay. Well, most people, when they make a mistake, they get down on themselves and they spiral even further down. That almost happened to me earlier this week. I was having a bad week and I was just letting those emotions kind of stir in me. And I started thinking, in my moments of silence, and this happened in the morning. I was thinking, oh man, this is not going well. I forgot even what happened, but I knew that I was just kind of in this pattern of going to be having a bad day. And I just kind of recognized that I was having a bad day and it was important for me to snap out of it. And I could have easily let that day go bad. It would have been very easy for me to do. It wouldn't have been the best thing for me to do, but it would have been, if I just kind of went with the flow and just kind of let that bad day carry out, it could have happened. But instead, I did recognize it. And even when I recognized it, I told myself I got to snap out of it. I found myself even just 5 minutes later, allowing those bad feelings, allowing the anger to come back, and I could have just let that happen. And so instead of recognizing that you've made a mistake or that you're having a bad day and letting it spiral out of control, what I invite you to do is instead of being down on yourself, instead celebrate. And don't celebrate that it happened. Don't celebrate that you've made a mistake, right? Celebrate that that you recognize it, and celebrate that you can learn from it. All right. And then at that point, say, you know what? I am making a mistake. I am having a bad day. It's time for me to snap myself out of it. And that way you can actually decide then that you're going to be happy. That way you can decide then that you've learned from that mistake. Because as humans, we, man, we crucify ourselves over and over and over again for a mistake that we've made in the past. And that mistake we could have made years ago, it could have been made decades ago, and we've made this mistake and say, I can't believe I did that. I feel so bad. There's no reason for us to feel bad about these mistakes. It's important that we learn from them. It's important that we recognize them. And it's important that we move on and take that knowledge from that mistake and move on forward with it. But I do recognize is that just like me, I was having a bad day, decided to snap out of it. 5 minutes later, I went into that same mode again. And if you make that same mistake again, if you kind of get back into that bad mood again, celebrate it again, that you recognize it again, and realize this. This is so important. You must realize that you are a work in progress and that success is going to take practice. You're going to have to learn how to live in a high vibration most of the time. And if you that vibration goes lower, you can't let that vibration stay low. It's important that you stay high on that so that you can allow more goodness and more happiness to come. And recognize it is practice. All right. It is something that you recognize and say, okay, I got to do it again. Because when I started going down that hill again, 5 minutes later, I said to myself, I got to snap out of this. 5 minutes later, I recognized that I was going through it again, and I really snapped into it. And I could have let that really perpetuate out, right? But I recognized it. I decided to be happier, and the day went much better. Now, what if 5 minutes after that, my life started going bad again, or my day started going bad again? What if I let those feelings back in? I recognize that, celebrate that, and move on. Do that until. Do that until you are having a good day, because one good day can turn into 2 good days, and a couple good days can turn into a good week, and a couple good weeks can turn into a good month, and then you have a couple good months that turn into a good year, and that can change your life. Because when you recognize that you are a work in progress, then you can give yourself a chance to start all over again. Only when practicing something can become second nature do you become successful. And let me give you an example, right? Um, when I used to play the piano when I was a child. I played this song called the Pachelbel Canon. You all know that song. The version I knew wasn't the big piano concerto version. It wasn't super popular, but it was a version that I knew how to play. And if I ever sat down on a piano, I could play it. All right. And I knew that song so well that it was just kind of automatic. I could play it and I could talk to people at the same time. Those of you that play piano, you understand that. And I haven't even taken that many, piano lessons, right? But it's a fun song I could play. And I just recently sat down on a piano, and after just a little bit of practice, it became automatic again. And so you're going to find that if you are a person that's used to having bad days and letting one bad thing spiral out of control, if you use this practice, all right, and if you recognize and celebrate, say, you know what, I'm having a bad day. Okay, I recognize it. It's time for me. I get to start over. If you can recognize that, then what will happen is that you become happier. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to recognize it, and then 5 minutes later, things will go downhill again, or you'll make another mistake again. It's time for you to snap back out of it and do that until having a good day is just automatic. And these bad days, they're once in a blue moon. And if that starts happening, your life will change. You will start playing bigger in life. You will have more happier days. You will love yourself more, and you will see that you're getting closer and closer to your dreams every single day. So I trust you got some awesome value out of this. Again, I invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment. It is a super easy way to support my blog and do it for free. And remember this, every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. We only got to do two things about that. We got to recognize those miracles. And then my favorite part, we get to accept those miracles. All right, take care and create a great day.